Hello, welcome to my channel, Wing Spiritual Clarity. My name's Wendy Wing. I'm doing a psychic tarot reading for you, tuning in to the day's energy, seeing what divine messages of guidance come through. This is a general reading, so take what resonates and leave the rest. All right. The overall energy of today's reading is the Nine of Wands in reverse. Feels like you can let your guard down, maybe healing your nervous system. Either you're vulnerable and you can't protect yourself, or you're healing and you're not having to be so guarded. Getting out of that fight or flight constant. Let's see what we're working with. What does the viewer need to know about the Nine of Wands in reverse? The Ace of Wands coming out as a challenge. This feels like exhaustion. Ace of Wands is following your highest excitement, just for the excitement of it, for the joy of it. An Ace of Wands, it's not a spark that lights you through weeks, days, months. It's something that you have to add more fire fuel to. Why is it a challenge for the viewer to follow their highest excitement right now? Ooh, a Knight of Cups. Okay. You let your guard down. I get the feeling you're not challenged to find your highest excitement. You're challenged by your excitement. And letting your guard down for someone who's showing up as a Knight of Cups. This person is offering a cup, water energy, emotions, dreamy energy. It could be true, it could not be true. Okay. What I'm perceiving here is you, viewer, might be challenged by someone who it feels good. It feels really good what they're telling you, what they're offering in that cup. Feels dreamy. It feels like your fantasy. It feels like a dream come true. So you're not challenged to follow your excitement. It feels like you follow your excitement and kind of dive into this watery fantasy energy. Are you, viewer, not trying to call you out, but are you susceptible to someone telling you a fantasy, to relationships, friendships even, that are more fantasy, projections? What does the viewer need to know about this overall energy? What does the viewer need to know about this Knight of Cups? Three of Wands, Ace of Swords in reverse. All right, so it feels with the aces, this is new energy. Ace of Swords in reverse is, for me, a foundational lie. The Knight of Cups might not even know that they're lying. They might be in the fantasy themselves. And that's why it feels so real. And that they're telling the truth is maybe they're in that fantasy too. Three of Wands, it feels like there's expansion here. There's this energy of wanting to expand this connection, expand this relationship. With the action, it feels like in the 3D. All right. So it feels like I'm describing a relationship that we're looking at, or fantasy relationships that feel so good. You're so attracted to the dreamy feel of them. And how to figure out if it's real or not. That's what I'm getting is the overall energy. Okay, so in Hidden Blessings, we have the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. This is my card for pulling your energy, your focus, no longer investing in the 3D into someone. Feels like you've pulled your focus from someone, from something, and it's a hidden blessing. Ooh, more. Ooh, Queen of Cups in reverse, Nine of Pentacles in reverse. This is kind of all right, I'm gonna read it how I'm seeing it. It looks like in the hidden blessing, pulling your attention from someone, not investing in, not focusing on someone. There's some lack of worth, lack of self-worth here that I'm perceiving. Like you not seeing your own worth and value. There's something about the fantasy and how you relate to others. It feels like you might lose yourself and lose reality and dive into fantasy, becoming kind of codependent or dependent, kind of enmeshed is what I'm perceiving here. So why is this a hidden blessing? Why are these cards showing up as a hidden blessing? Page of Cups, Eight of Cups reverse, and King of Wands reverse or upright with his back turned, coming out as a challenge to these cards. Okay, I'm getting that there's some that dreamy energy. Someone who's just really immature and in a fantasy. Tells you a fantasy, tells you what you want to hear to get you hooked emotionally. Eight of Cups reversed, so you can't walk away because there's this fantasy here. What I'm seeing is after the fantasy and at the beginning of the relationship, it feels amazing. You let your guard down and you're following your highest excitement, that wand energy. Feels like it's very attractive, like you're very attracted to a delusion, a fantasy. Someone's telling you what you want to hear, but it's not the truth. It's not based in reality, but it's really what you want to hear. And I'm even getting that this Knight of Cups doesn't even realize maybe fully that they're telling a lie. And that's why you perceive that it's truthful and honest. And very quickly, there's expansion. It feels like someone changes up very quickly. And this is a blessing. So you can recognize what's real and what's not real. Okay, the reality of the situation is that this person in the Knight of Cups has unhealed wounds that are similar to yours. They recognize that you don't see your own worth and value. They need someone to focus. They need you to focus your attention on them energetically, to give to them, to supply them with energy. And they can convince you of that because of the fantasy, because of your woundedness. This is someone who is not independent. They're looking for someone that they can hook in through fantasy, delusion. It looks like it's mostly to stabilize this person, to give to them, because it looks like you're very capable on your own, very stable, and they don't have what you have. So they want what you have, but I don't know if they really want you, like as a partner. They just want you to supply what you're good at, what you're capable of. And then once they've hooked you in, then they stop putting in the action, the energy. They've got you hooked as a supply, and they can go elsewhere. Why this is coming up in the hidden blessing is so it looks like you recognize this. Instead of trying to chase this person then and trying to get back to, oh, that feels so good at the beginning, just recognizing that the quicker you realize who this person is and what their objective is. Their objective is having you emotionally attached, thinking this is as good as it gets, pouring all your energy into them, focusing on them, and they kind of disappear, and they can just pull your energy, and it feels like they disappear on you. And instead of chasing and trying to get back, I think you're recognizing this for what it is, what type of relationship it is. What you're leaving behind is the Seven of Swords. Tactical, lying, cheating, stealing, coming to light, deception. I'm getting, first of all, to say less. Once you recognize what's really happening. What you're leaving behind is a lot of wordplay, it feels like, and manipulation. This feels like a newer relationship. This doesn't, but it also has like a flavor of a past relationship. So there might be a pattern here that you're discovering. Why is the viewer being asked to leave behind the Seven of Swords? What is the viewer leaving behind? Okay. Six of Cups, Hermit, Four of Wands. Okay, got it. You're leaving behind having to be really careful with who you're in a connection with. It feels like they disappear once they feel that they've got you hooked into the relationship. Then they stop investing any of their energy, their action. It feels like there's this belief, like I've invested plenty and now I feel like I just coast and I should receive now and give very little. Something switch like that, where they start coasting, not giving the same energy at all. Even treating you as less than. Maybe this Six of Cups, this illustration, shows you what they really wanted out of this relationship. They didn't want a partnership. They wanted someone they could take advantage of that didn't complain too much, tolerated their mistreatment, neglect, lack of care, trying to convince this person that you don't like this relationship. And I'm getting, instead of spending all your time in this image trying to convince this person to let you up there to be equal, it feels like you're recognizing that that is the relationship. They want that dynamic. They don't want equality. And so I think you're leaving behind being alone inside relationships. Someone hooking you, and you might not have healed some wounds that allow people to tell you what you want to hear, sell you a fantasy. How do you know it's a fantasy? Because the moment it changes, the moment they change, instead of chasing or trying to get back, there's just like, whoop, nope, that's my sign to leave. Bummer, bummer, bummer it didn't work out. Because it looks like you're tired of having to be in a relationship where you're really alone, where you're not in a partnership, where you're vulnerable inside of a relationship. And at some point where something shifts, where it feels like this is amazing, but then it switches. And that's the real relationship, not the feel-good fantasy. And if you're trying to get back to the feel-good fantasy, then that's just not what's happening. There's just seems like a recognition once someone shifts the energy to not chase is what I'm getting, to know your value and your worth and be and recognize. All right. What's supporting, no, how to get the most of this energy is the King of Swords. The King of Swords has had experiences, wisdom. He's been through things. And I think you've had experiences, and now you recognize this pattern, this type of relating. And King of Swords feels pretty obvious. You're just cutting away. Once the moment it changes, and being like, oh, I got it. All right, yeah. No, thank you. I'm not interested in doing labor in a relationship. Mutual labor when both parties are working, yes, but the moment someone stops putting in the energy and is relying on that feeling, it feels like you just know too much and you're just cutting out what doesn't work. What's supporting you is the Four of Swords. Oh, you've healed. You've healed a lot. Maybe in the past this would have been more of a threat for you to kind of get pulled into this pattern for weeks, months, years. But now it looks like you've healed. And if you haven't healed, it feels like this is the perfect time to heal, to take the time to find those belief systems. Yeah, okay. Nine of Cups in reverse is my card for people pleasing, centering someone else in your experience. You might be healing where you center someone in relationships, where you have been taught how to relate to others is you lose yourself and you center someone. And if you're focusing on someone else chronically over time, you attune to their energy and you have more of their energy in your space than your own. It kind of feels enmeshed. And you just become chronically out of attunement with your own energies and what's for you. All right, let me see these other cards. Okay. I think you've healed and recognized that chasing a feeling just doesn't work. You're in reality, in a fantasy, not in a fantasy. Someone's wanting you to do their emotional labor, it feels like. Center them in your experience. Focus all your attention onto them. Pour into them. Make them happy. Feels like at the beginning, it's very, they mirror your energy. And it feels really good. I think you like the version of yourself that shows up in these experiences. Dreamy possibility. It feels lovely and wonderful. There's something here. You might have an impatience when you meet someone to move it to the next level. There might be a fast and furious because this person realizes that they don't have longevity, that they need to hit while the iron's hot while you're believing them, and build on that as quickly as possible so they can stop putting in as much energy. They feel very out of balance. They don't have the stamina, it feels like, to keep this facade for very long. And very quickly it moves to reality, feeling burdened, feeling overwhelmed and burdened, that this person does not know how to love themselves. And they're wanting you to abandon yourself and fill whatever wound that they're unwilling to heal themselves. They want you to just reside in their woundedness, filling them this endless hole of that's a wound, and just keep filling. And it's an empty pit, infinite. That wound just needs to be healed. They don't know how to love themselves. And someone who does not know how to love themselves and kind of like tricks others to just be that person to constantly fill that wound of lack of love, self-love, to play some type of role, emotionally stabilizing this person, taking their burdens, being treated less than. Oh, so they don't want someone to adore. They want someone to blame. And they want your labor, your emotional labor. Yeah. Ooh. All right. What's supporting you is your healing from all that. You might want to see where your matches are with that. If this is a repeating cycle and you keep attracting this type, then the common denominator is you. Not as a thing of blame, but just like get curious. Where is my match to this? If I keep attracting the same, what is it that I can shift within myself, heal within myself, so I attract something different? Someone different. All right, what to be mindful of is judgment. It feels like you've been called to a much more expansive way of perceiving, of being. Feels like you're being called out of these type of cycles. The next card would be World card, and a potential to expand and leave this type of cycle. What does the viewer need to be mindful of? All right. That's half the deck. What's a pithy thing that the viewer needs to be mindful of while expanding, while growing? What would help them have better judgment? Oh, yeah, okay. I'm going to take these where they fell. Okay, in what you're leaving behind, we had the Magician fell as a challenge on what you're leaving behind. It is a challenge not to manifest and repeat this pattern. And leave this pattern behind. All right, and then these cards fell on what's supporting you. 3 of Cups, 5 of Wands. Feels like friend groups. Friends that fight for you. Something about this very well this feels like romance, like a repetitive cycle that's not something you're wanting to ascend from, judgment, leave behind. This way of relating to others. And what I'm getting is maybe you are focusing on romance being the only way to relate. There's something here about having friends, found family, friends who support you, who fight for you. That want to see you succeed, that want the best for you. Because I get the feeling if you have an amazing friend group that want to see you succeed, that are very supportive of you, where you feel the support, you feel cared for, you know you're cared for. It feels like they stand up for you. And so if then Mr. Dreamy comes in with their cup of fantasy, then this friend group can say, all right, and kind of help you navigate the fantasy. And not that you have to depend on your friends to help you with your discernment, but there's something here about investing in your friend groups. Not just looking for the one or romantic relationships, not centering romantic relationships, maybe. That's an aspect of your life, of the buffet of experiences, instead of that's the only experience. In the buffet of life, there's friends, there's family, found family, there's experiences, there's travel, there's growing and learning things, there's challenges that are fun and exciting. There's so many infinite things other than a romantic relationship being the only thing. Because what I'm seeing is kind of losing yourself might be part of the pattern, becoming enmeshed. And so by the time you figure out this is not the fantasy, there feels like a lot of disappointment. So it looks like you're healing that pattern. So I'm going to do an extended reading. If this is your reading and this resonates and you want to continue on, there's a link in the description box below. It says extended reading here. Just click on that link. It takes you to Patreon Part 2, where I'll be looking at health, relationships, creativity, new opportunities, and career and finance. So I'll see you over there. If not, take care. Have an amazing rest of your day.